Hello and welcome to UK Crime Got on Camera. I'm Rich and I'll be your guide through all the footage you're about to see. 16 years for a man who sprayed police with ammonia. A 22-year-old Brixton man has been jailed for 16 years after spraying an officer with ammonia and threatening him with a gun.
I've been sprayed by something. He's got a firearm.
Police were called to reports of people acting suspiciously shortly after midnight on June 17, 2022, around parked cars on Commonside East in Mitchell. PC Samuel Gord approached a male, later identified as James Boyle. Officer Gord tried to speak to him, asking him to take his hands out of his pockets. But Boyle pulled out a bottle and sprayed the officer in the face with ammonia. The officer was only able to see from one eye, but managed to use his pava spray. This caused Boyle to turn around and flee.
Power deployed! Power deployed! I've been sprayed by something. He's got a firearm. Very south.
PC Gord said in his victim impact statement, "At the time of the incident I was in complete fear for my life. I did not know what the male had sprayed at me. Thoughts of acid, ammonia or any liquid that could have caused me irreversible injuries to my eye, sight or permanent disfigurement to my face overcame me. My thoughts turned to my son at home. Was he going to grow up only knowing me as having a disfigured face? Will he recognise me when I go home?" PC Gord was joined by his colleague PC John Garner. The pair chased Boyle on foot. Boyle then pulled a handgun from his waistband and pointed it at them. He escaped. After some investigation of CCTV, police identified the man as James Boyle. He was located and arrested by officers on Friday, June 24, 2022. Boyle was sentenced to 16 years imprisonment at Kingston Crown Court on Monday, March 13. He earlier pled guilty at the same court on November 11, 2022 to the following offences: administering a poison or noxious substance with intent, possession of a firearm with intent to cause fear of violence, using a firearm with intent, assault, actual bodily harm, possession of a bladed article, knife, possession of a bladed article, axe, having a corrosive substance in a public place. Robbers steal cash from elderly man. This robber has been jailed for almost 4 years after he was caught on CCTV grabbing cash from an elderly man and stealing bottles of whiskey from a shop at Knife Point. Last May, 43-year-old Michael Hooper was filmed asking for money from a 76-year-old gentleman at a cash point in Sainsbury's in Crawley, West Sussex. But the pensioner refused to hand it over, and Hooper pushed him and grabbed the cash before running away. A month later, Hooper then went into a newsagent's in Crawley and tried to buy some whiskey. But his card was declined, so he grabbed a bottle of booze and made a run for it. And just 1 hour later, he returned to the same shop armed with 2 knives, snatching 2 more bottles of whiskey before fleeing. Hooper was soon identified and arrested. He was charged with burglary, 2 counts of robbery and 2 counts of possession of a knife in a public place. Hooper pled guilty on all charges and was jailed for 44 months. Burglars ram 3 police cars off the road during pursuit. 2 burglars who tried to ram 3 police cars off the road during a chase have been jailed. Jack Setchell, 23, and Charlie Dunn, 25, reversed the van into 2 vehicles before smashing a BMW into another in a bid to escape from officers. The duo were wanted over a series of rural burglaries in North Yorkshire after they stole farm equipment, a quad bike and a Ford Fiesta. Police said the duo carried out several burglaries alongside Keating Corner between 2:30am and 8:30am on June 2nd last year. The footage shows the gang driving a stolen white Ford Transit van with a wood chipper in tow. When the wood chipper became loose and the van stopped, police approached the van but Dunn sped off. He injured one of the officers in the process. Dunn then rammed into a second police vehicle involved in the pursuit, before crashing the van into a field. Police found the van empty, but shortly afterwards Setchell was seen driving a black BMW. It also rammed several vehicles before crashing, which led to their arrests. Dunn pled guilty to 1 house burglary, 3 farming building burglaries, 1 theft of a quad bike, 3 aggravated taking of vehicles, and assaulting an emergency worker. Setchell pled guilty to 1 house burglary, 3 farm building burglaries, 1 theft of a quad bike, and 2 aggravated taking of vehicles. Dunn was sentenced to 4 years and 6 months in jail. Setchell was sentenced to 4 years in prison. Connor pled guilty last month when the judge acknowledged his low intelligence and that he had been encouraged to commit the crimes. He was handed a 3-year community order with 300 hours unpaid work and 50 days rehabilitative activities. Connor, of County Durham, has also been banned from driving for 12 months. He must take an extended driving test before driving alone again. Cat flat burglar gets caught in the act. Still in London, we're watching a man who stole a homeowner's house keys through a cat flap. He then went on to steal a handbag, perfume and toy figurines. 43-year-old Daniel Mead can be seen re-emerging from the bush carrying a pink handbag. Police later found and arrested him. In custody, he answered no comment during the police interview and was later charged. The CCTV footage meant the burglar had no choice but to plead guilty to burglary. He was sentenced to 3 years in prison at Snaresbrook Crown Court. He was also fined £228. Drug driver steals car and crashes into bus stop. A disqualified driver has been jailed after crashing a stolen car into a bus stop. After the collision, 46-year-old Monique Moss abandoned her smashed Ford Focus and walked off. The July 2022 incident occurred in Crawley, Sussex. It was captured on the dashcam of a passing car. Moss had reportedly visited a friend's place in town earlier that morning. As she left, she took a set of keys and stole the car. Police arrived at the scene around 8 AM on July 2nd and secured the car. After inquiries, Moss was arrested and charged for dangerous driving, theft of a vehicle, driving while disqualified, being in charge of a vehicle which was left in dangerous circumstances, failing to report a road traffic collision, and driving while uninsured. Moss was convicted of drug driving in November 2016 and given a 24-month ban. She was then convicted of failing to provide a specimen for analysis in December 2018 and given a 48-month ban. Last October, Moss was sentenced to 24 months in prison and was further disqualified from driving for 4 years. Paramedic caught stealing and selling defibrillators. A paramedic who made almost £235,000 by selling stolen defibrillators has been ordered to pay back just £32,508. Scott Sutherland swiped 47 of the life-saving devices from ambulance stations across the northwest after journeying from his home near the south coast. He would then sell the equipment, valued at more than £10,000 each, online to community responders and on demand to a buyer abroad. He was jailed for 3 years in November 2021 after pleading guilty to the thefts at Liverpool Crown Court. He appeared before the same court in March 2023 for Proceeds of Crime Act, where Judge David Swinnerton heard how he benefited to the tune of £234,408.03. The judge ordered Sutherland to repay £32,508.04 in compensation to North West Ambulance Service within 3 months or serve a further 3 years in prison. The court also approved an order for the forfeiture of the defibrillator found in his home, the paramedic coat he used to commit the thefts, and his mobile phone. According to the prosecution, Sutherland was employed as a paramedic by the North West Ambulance Service from 1995 to 2019. Weed dealers caught high above their own supply. A trio of men have been jailed after officers found a massive cannabis factory. What you're seeing is them in December 2022 trying to evade capture from police atop their own cannabis factory. Gerald Dusku, Kelly Bikaku and Ledar Bardi appeared at Bristol Crown Court on Tuesday, March 7, 2023. The court heard how, in December last year, officers discovered their cannabis factory in a Somerset warehouse. The cannabis found had an estimated street value of almost £200,000. Police acted after a call from members of the public, and the force's specialist drone unit was the first on the scene. The offenders fled onto the roof of the building in an attempt to evade capture. However, the building was quickly surrounded. They subsequently came down and were arrested. They were then charged the following day. They pled guilty to a charge of being concerned in the production of cannabis. They were sentenced to 1.5 years each. Well, that's that from this week. Wherever you've been watching us, please drop us a like, share the video around, and follow or subscribe if you haven't already. I'm Rich for National World, signing off.